I'm also responsible for logistics globally. I didn't know that much about logistics 6 years ago, but I can say that I've learned a lot. And a couple of highlights. Globally, we ship 39,000 vehicles every day to our dealers. 24,000 of them goes on trucks. And the rest is going on rail, roughly 5,000 a day on boats. This year we will ship 1.6 million vehicles ocean freight. And if you think about that, the normal ship takes 5,000 vehicles, that's a lot of ships. And I've learned how to track them and how to locate them and to deal with engine problems. Because at the end of the day, you need to have the dealers getting their vehicles. $7.2 billion spent on the logistics, $13 billion spent on indirect material. This is consumption material for our plants. And last, the core business, we are spending $89 billion on production material for our global operations. And the tough issue here is really to have the right balance every day in every area and make sure that you drive the right performance. Up to 4 years ago, we worked on what I call global coordination. We may have 15 buyers sitting in different countries, and their task was to coordinate between each other. 4 years ago, we started something new that we call centralized decentralization. This is a difficult term. Centralized decentralization. But what it means is that we took and looked at the country's best characteristics. And we said, where does it make sense to have a center of expertise for the globe? And starting here in China, we located Akil Puri and his team to China. And we say that you run the business from China. For us, it made a lot of sense. We wanted to have all the people located in one building. We wanted them to be close to the electronic supply base. And we wanted to drive a culture that we can buy from one place. But Akil and his team is responsible for all the quality, deliveries, and performance of all these cars to 87 countries. A different way of saying it, I want someone to wake up every morning feeling total responsibility for radios. I know it's Akil. Before you had 10 buyers feeling a tense of responsibility each. And we didn't drive the right communication to our supply base. And we typically saw that the buyer in the country he was in spent too much time to try to make his local supplier to become the best. That's human nature. The Swedish guy wanted to work with the Swede. The US guy wanted to work with American. The German guy wanted to make the German supplier the best. Today it's up to Akil and his team to say, what's the best global supplier for GM globally, and to make the trade-offs. And what you can see at this slide is that we have roughly 50% of our buying responsibilities outside of the United States. I can be honest and say it was like a culture shock for our American colleagues, because they were very used that everything gravitates around the United States. But in the buying business today, it's very clear that many other countries are coming up, like China, like Korea, like India, like Mexico, and for us, Ukraine and Russia. In some cases, we asked ourselves to say, where do we have the best human expertise? And if we didn't have that at the same place where we had the supply base, we moved the individual. In the case of wind regulators, the best expert in wind regulators were actually Swedish gentlemen. And we gave him a 3-year ISB assignments to Korea. Because what this picture is telling you, we want to have the best engineers, the best purchasing people running their business. But we want them to be as close to the supply base as possible. I'll give you one more example. Today, all of our seatbelt buying activities are performed out of Mexico. Because we have the best team in Mexico. And in the global supply base, Mexico is the largest manufacturer of seatbelts in the world. Therefore, it makes sense to have them in Mexico. Does not mean that they buy all the seatbelts from Mexico, because everything we buy based on the best landed cost. And I will come back to that later. Giving you an example on battery cables. This is how the picture looks like today. So 26 million of our battery cables are coming from China. 1 million from Germany, 1 million from Sweden, 8 million from Brazil, 119 from Mexico, and 10 from the United States, and 24 from Canada. What you see is that we have deliveries from 7 countries, and we're not getting our scale. We're not getting the benefits. I guess that a year from now, under Akil's leadership, the battery cables may come from Vietnam, Ukraine, and Nicaragua. I hope you understand my point. The best place to buy globally will always change. We don't know yet if Vietnam is the right place. Cambodia may be the right place for these little parts. But I want to give you the message that this is how we look at our business, and this is how you can help us. Many times I get the question to say, what are you looking for in a supplier? In general, I can say I'm very pleased with our global supply chain. When you look at our best performing suppliers, they typically have 3 characteristics. The first one is what we call superior culture. That's typically people like you. It starts with management. Good companies always have good management. The second characteristic is that they focus on the right things. They drive an organization that is capable of doing good designs, good technology, and they move fast. The third characteristic is that they create advantage. Or what I say is, we want suppliers that are creating value for us and for themselves every day. Many times, when we look at our best suppliers, they typically focus on 2 or 3 areas. If I take one of our best Chinese suppliers, is a company called Daimei Shanghai. They are doing sun visors for GM. 3 years ago, they were not a supplier to GM. Today, they are delivering 5 million sun visors a year. 5 million sun visors a year coming from Shanghai Daimei. Second product they produce for us is steering wheels. Lever-wrapped steering wheels. And last time when I was in China in May, I visited their plant. Very impressed with their owner, their management, and their technology. And absolutely one of our best suppliers in China that fulfills all of these criteria.